All right, the White House is selling Bidenomics. They're proud of it, but Americans are not buying it, according to our latest poll. Our next guest, and you're looking at that poll now, is saying that September, which starts tomorrow, will be the start of real chaos for the U.S. economy and hurt the little guy. Let's bring in Kevin O'Leary. He's joining us now. Kevin, in what respect is this new influx of money from the president's program that passed a couple of years ago going to not help the little guy?
Well, let's think about it. We've got the CHIPS and Science Act. Where's that money going? Behemoth giant companies in the S&P 500. The Inflation Reduction Act, another $1 trillion, not even printed yet, all going to the big guys. But 60% of America is small business. That's where 60% of the jobs come from. We've given nothing to them.
Multi-billionaire Kevin O'Leary, spokesperson from Shark Tank, is on Fox News this morning talking about banking and the crisis we're in. $100 billion exits the U.S. banking system in 3 months, as Kevin O'Leary warns people are very nervous about putting their money in the bank. Now, this article goes on to say Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary says the U.S. banking system is set for a period of major consolidation after a loss of confidence in the financial sector. In the new Fox News interview, the venture capitalist says the number of regional banks in the U.S. will likely drop by half in the coming years.
We have 4,100 regional banks in America. Probably in the next 3 years, we'll be down to 2,000. They're going to consolidate. During that period, people are very nervous about putting their money in the bank, because if another one fails and you have your cash in there, right now you're only guaranteed for $250,000.
And this is why multi-billionaires are going to crypto and not the banking system. If you can see right here, this guy, Don Ricardo, just like Mr. Kevin O'Leary, is a multi-billionaire. He is worth $13.8 billion, and in his liquid portfolio, he only has Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin miners, and some oil companies.
In the liquid part of the portfolio, I now opted to, I basically just have Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, 4 or 5 miners, and some oil companies, and some gold miners. That's it.
The world's largest asset manager, Blackrock, is increasing its exposure to Bitcoin by investing in the top 5 miners of the flagship digital asset. According to the company's market cap index, the top 5 Bitcoin miners are Riot Platforms, worth $1.92 billion, Marathon Digital, worth $1.83 billion, Cypher Mining, worth $0.74 million, Hut 8 Mining, worth $0.5 billion, and TerraWolf Inc., worth $0.41 billion. Of these 5, it's only Hut 8 that BlackRock has yet to invest in.
I want to ask a completely different question for you, Tom, because he's our overall ETF maven here. We have seen a spate of new Bitcoin ETF offerings recently, including from BlackRock. Even though everybody knows the SEC and Gary Gensler is completely hostile to the idea, and everybody said, well, they're going to say no.
Since the start of 2023, Bitcoin has pulled off an absolute moonshot. The crypto of record has soared 83%, with a good chunk of it coming since June 15th. That's when BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed an application for a spot Bitcoin Trust ETF. BlackRock's iShares joins a crowd of fund managers from ARK to Invesco, VanEck, Grayscale, all these other fund companies that have been desperate to do the same, but they've been turned away by the SEC's bouncers, namely Chief Bouncer Gary Gensler. BlackRock's first application, actually, it's already been kicked back. The SEC demanded it name a surveillance partner to spot things like fraud and manipulation. And late last week, BlackRock and NASDAQ refiled, naming Coinbase as the custodial surveillance partner of the spot Bitcoin Trust. The crypto world pinning its hopes on BlackRock, which has a track record regulators say they find too good to reject. At least that's what people think. BlackRock's 576 ETF applications, 575 have been accepted, and just 1 has been rejected. Joining us now in a Fox Business exclusive is BlackRock's chairman and CEO, Larry Fink, along with Charlie Gasparino. How do these things work out? How long does it take? And what do you think odds are of any of your ETFs that you float getting accepted?
Well, we try to do what's right for the long-term investor, and I think we have a good track record working with our regulators and trying to making sure we're thinking about all the issues around any filing. Specifically on Bitcoin, as I've said in the past, we're a believer in digitization of products. ETFs was a big revolution mutual fund industry, and it's really taking over the mutual fund industry. And we do believe that if we can create more tokenization of assets and securities, and that's what Bitcoin is, it could revolutionize again finance. And so we look at this as an opportunity to move one step further.
PayPal stablecoin opens the door for crypto adoption in traditional finance. Designed for payments, 1 USD equals 1 PYUSD on PayPal. It says PayPal USD is a stablecoin backed by secure and highly liquid assets. Buy, sell, hold, and transfer it in our app on our site. Visa taps into Solana to widen USDC payment capabilities. The global payments firm has expanded its stablecoin settlement capabilities to include USDC tokens issued on the Solana blockchain. These big companies like Blackrock, PayPal, Visa, they all have a plan, and this is why.
Much of what this committee has discussed, and will certainly discuss today, is around crypto assets in their speculative form. But it's important to remember that what we are really discussing is a technological innovation, and one of its first use cases that has operated at scale just happens to be digital currencies. We are in the early stages of this technology, and I really want to provide some examples of that. It generally takes about 25 to 30 years for human beings to adopt a new data transfer technology. Radio was invented in 1890, but wasn't commercially available until the 1920s. TV was developed in the 1920s, but wasn't in homes until the 1950s. Email was invented in 1969, but most of you most likely didn't have an email address until 1997. There is one that I really want to focus on, and that's TCP/IP, which is the internet, for those that don't know. It was developed as a DARPA project in 1970, but it wasn't really commercially accepted until 1995 when it was rolled out with Windows 95. There's another important date, which is 1983. 1983 is when TCP/IP was accepted as the standard protocol for internet development, 13 years after it was created. Well, here we are, 13 years after Bitcoin was created, and we're just now starting to talk about standardization. This is not a coincidence. Adoption at this stage is not a technology problem, it's a human conditioning issue. Every 13-year-old in the United States has only existed in a world where Bitcoin has existed. 3 years from now, every 16-year-old will have only existed in a world where Bitcoin has existed. 16 years old is an important date because it's generally when someone becomes interested in becoming a developer. They are the adoption layer. We here in this room, we're the infrastructure layer. It's our responsibility to create an environment where every 13-year-old American has a framework upon which they can build the next world on.
U.S. Representative Tom Emmer told the audience at Permissionless 2 that things are looking up for crypto and it's time to concentrate the narrative on innovation. AI is going to be huge. Now I'm going to leave you with this.
Kevin O'Leary, the man himself, is with me and sitting right next to me in New York. And did you know this is the first time we've ever met face to face?
You're right. On the same set. Very excited about it.
Extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you with me? Don't attack America's crown jewels.
Well, I remember the same narrative emerging when the internet was first born. And every time we get a huge technological shift, there's fear and loathing. But in the end, the way to look at this, it's just another tool.
Would you be comfortable putting money into an AI play now, even at these lofty levels?
I've taken a different approach, learning again from the internet. You know, go back to the gold rush. The guys that made the real money sold the jeans and picks and shovels. Yeah. And right now, that's NVIDIA.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Daily Grind. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little notification bell so you guys never miss an episode.